just continue to progress the team through training camp and our installation and so forth is another thing. We've only been in pads 4 days, so padded practices, conditioning, etc. That's all part of it too. So just trying to continue to string productive days together in camp, and we'll see how things go against the Giants. Then we got a couple big weeks against Carolina and Vegas. So we're kind of getting into a you know active schedule here coming up, and one we're looking forward to.
Bill, I had a question on, you say you scrutinize everything at the end of every year and look towards doing things differently. I was just looking back at last year's kind of practice schedule for the first few days of padded practice. It seems like they were more intense, more physical at that point than this year. I'm sure you're going to get to it, but why the tweak, and how are you guys approaching this early portion of camp?
We're approaching our practices the best way that we can. I think that we've the ramp up period was the ramp up period, and I think we've been in pads more days than we had last year at this time. I'll have to go back and double check it, but I think so. And prior to the first game, well, we'll see.
Yeah,
All right.
Well, Sunday was like
Well, that'll be
very
5.
active.
But anyway,
Sunday was like a very active practice last year.
yeah, I'd say that
Just
I'd
curious.
say the big thing would be this year, working with our strength and conditioning staff. I feel like our team is as healthy as it's ever been at this time of year. Part of that, I think, has a lot to do with the off-season program and the way the guys have worked, and maybe part of it has to do with the way we've practiced. But we really, have very little in the way of players missing time, players on PUP, NFI. We, pretty much cleared that up today. Which last year, we had like 6 or 7 guys in that category, plus some other a variety of things. So, try to do what we think's best every year. Kind of compare one year to another year. I don't know how relevant that is. We look at things where they are and try to make the most of them.
Thanks.
Well, is that something that you look at over a period of 5 years, 10 years with your conditioning coaches about kind of maybe what's the best path? Do you adjust that every single year as far as what you think is best physically for your team?
Well, we talk about it every year. I wouldn't necessarily say we adjust it or don't adjust it. We do what we think's best. Try to take input from all parties. And look at what our schedule is. Last year we played away in Philly. That was a big week for us. This week it's at home, or this year it's at home on the second week. So there's always things that are a little different year to year, and our installation schedule was a little bit different this year with the way we started camp. So, last year we were, more early downs. This year was in the red area. So sometimes it just, for whatever reasons, it just, we feel like that's, for that particular time, the way to do it.
Does that include James today? Will he be ready to practice, James White?
Yeah, we'll see about him, but Hines will come off today.
Bill, as you start another week, I know it's fairly early in training camp and a lot of training camps still to go, and you get the 3 exhibition games, but are you comfortable with the progress that you're making so far in terms of instilling an offense, getting the players to learn what needs to be done here so you'll be able to move ahead consistently?
Alan, every day is a challenge. We just try to, build on yesterday and do what we can do today to get better, and then build on it tomorrow. So, at different points in time, we kind of take stock of where we are and decide whether we want to add more in this area or add more in that area, or whatever it happens to be. And so we try to do the things that we think are most important, most necessary, that'll help us win. And that's just kind of what we do. So that's not really you can get everything in and not execute it very well, or you can get in less and hopefully do it better. That's usually the way it works, or there's somewhere in between. And I'd say usually we fall somewhere in between. Don't get in everything we want, but feel like the things that we can do, at least we're doing it at a competitive level. I'm saying it's great, but it's, at least we can go out there and do it. So, so we'll see.
What have you seen from Pierre Strong so far in camp?
you know, he missed a little time to start camp here and just come back lately, so he's a little bit behind. But you know, working hard, catching up. You know, glad he's out there. Glad we're working with him.
Bill, when it comes to how you envision your team's identity, either offensively or defensively, how do you balance having patience with new things that you might be doing versus saying, okay, maybe we need to shift gears here? Again, I know it's early in camp, but is there a point even in camp where you would say, this
Sure.
isn't looking the way we want, we might have
Yeah.
to do something else?
In camp, in preseason, during the season, mid-season, yeah. I think you see things that are going well. You try to figure out a way to maybe, you know, exploit that more or do more of it. You see things that aren't going well, and you either figure out a way to improve it or get rid of it and move on to something else that's more productive. You know, so you have a couple different options there. You just have to decide which one you feel is the right one for that. But if you're spending time on something that's not productive, then you know either you need to change it or find something else. It's just not efficient.
How difficult is it to make a change knowing you've spent a lot of time on something?
Well, I think that's part of it. You know, like everything's not going to work out perfectly. And again, we have a lot of in certain positions. You know, we have a number of new players, and we'll have to see how they adapt and kind of find out what things they're good at and what things maybe we need to do less of, what things we need to do more of. And so I think we're finding that out, certainly with the rookies and younger players, but also some other players who've added to the team. And that's a process. Sometimes it takes a while, but ultimately you have to make that judgment, and sometimes you make it sooner rather than later. But it's not really worried too much about all that right now. I mean, we have a lot of balls in the air. We're trying to get ready for the Giants game. We're trying to evaluate players. We're trying to, work against each other so we can get high quality work rather than just, running plays from another team. So, there's a lot of things going on there that are all come together, in some kind of jigsaw puzzle. It's not just one thing.
Let's take two more. What allowed Matthew Judon to just come in and fit in so well last year, and how enjoyable has it been for you to coach him?
Great, yeah. Matt's got a lot of good energy. Loves football, plays hard. Came in obviously as a very experienced player, like all the UFAs do. With at least 4 years, in a system, good system in Baltimore, and so, like I said, he has good energy, anxious to learn. Gave us a lot of productive plays. Was able to work well with his teammates like LG and Godshaw, and Barmore was another young player last year, and then Dan later in the year, Carl Davis, and the other defensive ends and outside linebackers, some of whom are here, some of whom aren't here. But he works well with everybody, and is a good communicator and a good, tough physical football player.
Last one. Sean Payne, he obviously joined you guys pretty late in the process last year.
Yeah, Sean's because of a couple of guys that weren't able to participate at the beginning part of training camp. He's played some different positions, played a little bit of safety, some inside on the nickel position, and then outside. So, he's gotten a good dose of everything. Smart kid, has been productive, has good skills, and is just gain experience in the system. He's getting better every day out there, and it'll be interesting to watch him and some other guys in that similar situation, kind of that second year, but didn't really do a whole lot the first year, to see how they do as we get into the competitive practices with Carolina and Vegas, and then the preseason games here starting on Thursday. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. Okay, great. All right, thank you. Yep, thank you.